But what this basically means is the idea that we and everything else around us exists independently and not interdependently. See, everything exists interdependently. We exist interdependently. We exist interdependently with each other. We are no man is an island, no woman neither. See, we exist as part of a network, interdependent network. So other people's interests are really your own interests. You see, you're not isolated. You're not atomistic. The more other people are happy, the more happy you will be because we're all tied together, you see. What's that Solomon Burke song? None of us are free. If some of us are in chains, none of us can be free if some of us are in chains, you see. No one can be free if other people aren't. Nobody can really be free. And this is very important for Americans, I think. A very important lesson for Americans. We're not bubbled here. We're not in some bubble. You know, some like boutique, samsaric bubble. Safe from suffering while the rest of the world suffers around us, you see. You know, the world's suffering is our problem. Because we're all connected. We're all connected. What happens, I mean, we can sort of realize this in this day and age of communication, right? Where, you know, what happens in Afghanistan is instantaneously known here. And we're all connected. We're all connected like that. So none of us exist self-existently in the sense of independent of each other. And then there's another sort of dimension of it. There's no independently existing other people either. So we don't exist independent from other people, but other people don't exist independent from us either. So here's a practical example of that. Imagine that you have an irritating person in your life. Is the irritating person independently irritating? Self-existently irritating? See, do they have some kind of essence d'irritation? Right? Some kind of independent essence of being irritating that they radiate out, and then you kind of like unfortunately get in their purview every once in a while. Oh, I ran into an irritating person. See, they exist interdependently on you as an irritating person. So there's no irritating person. You ready for this? There's no irritating person unless and until you're irritated. Right? They exist interdependently with you. It takes two to tango. Right? They could not be an irritating person unless you were irritated. So you want to get rid of irritating people? How do you do that? You ship them all to Burbank? What do you do? How do you get rid of them? You know, no, that's our strategy in a way, is to just kind of push them away, or, you know, try not to see them, don't take their cell phone calls, you know, don't take it, you know. And then maybe sometimes we get desperate, oh, you know, I hate LA, everyone's irritating in LA, I'll move to, you know, San Francisco. And then you get to San Francisco, and, you know, before you unpack the U-Haul, there they are again. Right? You know, maybe different faces, you know, different gender, different races, with the same irritating people. So how do you get rid of irritating people? Stop being irritated. Stop being irritated. Take control of the process, you see. So the interdependence of things, the absence of self-existence is our salvation. Is our salvation. If irritating people were out there, how could you ever change them? And how could you run away from them? They'd follow you like zombies. They follow you everywhere. So, oh my God, here they come more. Okay? But because they're not out there as irritating people, because we have at least 50% control here, we can change them. We can change them, literally. We can change our experience of an irritating person by just not being irritated. This was also, you know, this was the great wisdom, the great, it was almost like a koan. You know what a koan is? Like this kind of like, you know, kind of mystical puzzle, mystical saying, koan. Jesus said, love your enemies. Love your enemies. If you love your enemies, guess what happened to your enemies? See, they just disappeared. If you loved them, they wouldn't be enemies. They'd be loved ones. You see? Presto changeo. And who has that? Who has the power to do that except for you, you see? So take that power and say, I want to be a happy person. I want to be a happy person. I'm going to take the power that I've always had to be a happy person and to stop using that power to make myself more unhappy all the time. By how? By being irritated with irritating people, for example, over and over and over again. Being irritated with an irritating person then usually results in you being irritating back to an irritating person, right? And then, then you just created the certainty for more irritating people in your life. Because what goes around does, in fact, come around. That you shall reap what you sow, you see? These aren't just idle words. This is the way of the world. If you don't want irritating people, don't be irritating. And the way not to be irritating is to stop being irritated, you see? Because we're irritating when we're irritated. Happy people aren't irritating. You remember I started the whole talk about how important it is to be happy. Here's another way of thinking about it. Happy people aren't creating the causes for more unhappiness all the time by being driven by their unhappiness to be part of the problem instead of part of the solution, you see? Driven by unhappiness to make other people unhappy. Unhappiness loves company, right? Misery loves company. And, when you just check it out. Next time you're unhappy, just notice, all of a sudden, you don't like other people being happy around you. What are you so happy about? I'm not feeling so good. What are you so happy about? And then we like subtly or not so subtly try to make other people feel like we do. And that's also the case with happiness. When we're feeling happy, we want everyone to join in. We want to have a big happiness party, you see? Then you're interested in other people's happiness because you're happy, you see? You want other people to feel like you do. So it's like that. Don't underestimate the importance of happiness. But now let's think about, well, how is that going to really happen? How is the happiness that we're all looking for? We're all looking for happiness. They sell us cars on the basis of our desire to be happy. Of course, right? Of course. We just want, but we're fooled over and over again about the real causes of happiness. It's not in the car. It's not in the iPad. It's not in the Dragon movie in 3D. See, no, you go to the. It's not that you shouldn't. You can never go to the movies again. Okay, you didn't come to the Mahasuka Center to learn. Oh, I can't go to the movies anymore. See, happiness isn't not going to the movies either. Happiness isn't going to the movies, and happiness isn't not going to the movies. Okay, so yeah. No, it's fine to go to the movies. Just don't have unfulfillable expectations, And in LA, I used to live in LA. It's unbelievable. The industry rules here. You're talking about movies. It's very, very apt in LA because you know how it goes, right? On Monday, all of a sudden, every bus, every billboard is, go see the Dragon movie. Dragon movie opening on Friday, bombarded with the Dragon movie in 3D opening on Friday. And then we get like all excited. Oh, the last 3D movie I saw was cool. And this one's going to be about dragons. And I saved the glasses from the last movie. And then, by Friday, everyone's in a kind of a, in a pitch, high pitch about the movie. And then you go, oh, but I couldn't get the ticket. I didn't go to Fandango. And so I go, oh, I'll go to Fandango. And then on Saturday, you go to the movie. And it's like, oh, wow, look, the dragons are flying right at me. And how realistic and how awesome. And, 2 hours go by. And it's like, yeah. And then after the movie, go out for coffee or something. Did you like the movie? Oh, it was so great. So realistic. Those dragons, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Yeah. It's really good. Really great movie. Right? And then Monday comes along and then it's like, no, the Brad Pitt movie's coming. It is. Right? Is it? Over and over and over again. See, it's just, and everything's like that, you see? It's all like that. We get ourselves all worked up, this is how it goes, okay? I've been trying to think of a name for this graph. Maybe you guys can find a clever name for it somehow. But this is the graph of repeated unhappiness, repeated dissatisfaction. If only I could go to Jamaica, I'd be happy. If only I could go to Jamaica, right? Then it's like, this desire grows in us. And we start saving money, and maybe we, get a Lonely Planet book about Jamaica and think about all the waterfalls that we're going to go and see. And, all the beaches are so beautiful in Jamaica. If I only go to Jamaica, I'm saving my money. I got a ticket. I'm in Jamaica. Right? And our hope is that this line will just continue forever. I'm in Jamaica, I'm finally happy. Right? But it doesn't. It's like, after about 5 or 6 days, it's kind of hot in Jamaica. And like the food's really spicy, and when can I come home? Right? And then, a couple of weeks go by, and you go, oh, I'm so glad to be in Los Angeles. I love Los Angeles. But Los Angeles has got a lot of traffic, and when can I get out of Los Angeles? I know, I'll go to Barbados if I only could go to Barbados. Over and over and over again, right? Over and over and over again. So that's the searching for happiness outside of ourselves, you see? In some experience, in some movie, in some object, in some eye gadget, thinking that happiness is outside of ourselves. And it's not, okay? Give it up. There's no product, there's no experience, there's no restaurant that will finally bring you happiness. You know how the restaurant goes? It's the same thing. Oh, if only I could go to that new Thai restaurant that just opened up in Culver City, then I'd be happy. And you get to the car, oh, this food is so great, the service is so wonderful. And then by about a half an hour later, you start getting peckish again. He's like, well, where can I eat? Where can I eat again? Where can I go next? See, next, what's next, over and over again. So it's not in the things, and it's not in the people either. Happiness isn't in the people. So we're setting people up to fail over and over and over again by thinking, if only I found the right partner, I'd be happy. If only I had the right relationship, you see. This last one, didn't work out at all, you see. But maybe the next person I meet, maybe Mr. Right is at the club somewhere, and then then you meet the guy or the gal, and you have this sort of romance, 2-week, 3-week sort of honeymoon period, 3 months max, where it's like, oh, we're so in love, and I think I found my soulmate, and everything she says is like poetry, is like music. She makes me so happy, right? And then, the graph then just goes with people too. If only I found the right partner, I'd be happy. Oh, she made me so happy. She made me so happy. She kind of says a lot, bugs me sometimes. She doesn't like, and then over and over again. If you think that somebody else has the power to make you happy, you will be very disappointed with them. Over and over and over again, you'll be disappointed. And then you'll have these kind of relationship, these like idiotic relationship conversations. It's like, you used to make me happy, but now you make me unhappy. You've changed. And number one is like, well, what did you think? Of course, everything's changing. Did you think that we were just going to like freeze frame in the honeymoon, weeks forever? You see, things are changing, constantly. Yes or no? Are things changing or not? Yes. Are people changing? Are you changing? So when somebody says, "Oh, you've changed," you go, "Of course. How could I not have changed? Of course I changed." But he says, "Yeah, but you didn't change it the way I wanted you to change. So, you didn't make me happy. You didn't make me happy." So if you think that somebody else can make you happy, then you will also think that somebody else can make you unhappy. And it doesn't work that way. Nobody can make you happy, and nobody can make you unhappy either. Only you can make you happy and unhappy.